safety. The facts are clear. Europe is not overwhelmed by refugees. 108.4 million are forcibly displaced worldwide. 62.5 million are internally displaced. 35.3 are externally displaced. And 70% of refugees are hosted in neighbouring countries, not in Europe. 43.3 million of that 108.4 million refugees globally are children. 38% of all refugees are hosted in 5 countries only. Only one of them, Germany, is a European state. We have a list of demands on the Irish government. We call on the Irish government to intervene at the EU level to change the rotten Fortress Europe policies and increase search and rescue operations. We call for an immediate end to the racist two-tier asylum system. Ireland should welcome all refugees equally. We also call on the Irish government to act on the growing housing crisis and deliver homes for all in need. People in Ireland, refugee or not, need homes. Homelessness can be prevented, and should the government have the political will to do so. We call for an immediate reinstatement of the eviction ban. We demand that the government immediately fulfil its promise to end the direct provision system. The latest disaster and loss of lives in the Mediterranean was preventable. The Irish state seems to have long forgotten the pictures of baby Alan Kurdi lying dead on the beach. They have forgotten the reports of horrible human rights abuses in refugee camps in Libya, funded by the EU. But we haven't. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 14, states that everyone has the right to seek and to enjoy in other countries asylum from persecution. It seems to be forgotten by EU states. The Irish government cannot hide behind the housing crisis to avoid their obligations for refugees. The housing crisis is solvable. Care and support to refugees is also possible. We believe in Ireland the real issue is the system which creates the housing crisis, not a refugee crisis. On World Refugee Day 2023, we cannot simply honour the struggles of displaced people for 1 year or 1 day in a year and continue to let them die for the rest. Whoever, wherever, whenever, everyone has the right to seek safety. Seeking refuge should not be a deadly journey. Whoever they are, people forced to flee should be welcomed and treated with dignity. Seeking protection and safety is a human right, not a crime. In 2023, we stand in solidarity with the victims. We ask you all to continue to hold those in power responsible and accountable for horrors happening at our borders. Thank you. We're going to have one more tune from the Castlebar Town Band.
Joe, can we talk after? We'll try and ask Joe a question in a few minutes, but we just listen to the Castlebar Town Band first. I don't know if you can hear me over the music there. Can you hear me there? And are very hard on the ears. Okay. Joe, can we say a few words,
Thank you
Joe?
very much. I'd like to call on Daly to come and read a poem.
We'll see if Joe will talk to us after. I don't know if he will. He might.
Alan Kurdi lies on the beach like autumn's fallen leaf. Seagulls soar in the sky, singing a song of grief. His eyes are bright pools swimming in the deep, are forgotten faces full of pain, faces that weep. Alan Kurdi doesn't breakfast, no sugar puffs or cornflakes. Snap, crackle, and pop, bombs fall like a little earthquakes. He has never played Nintendo nor Xbox, truth or dare, only hide and seek with IEDs, landmines, and sniper stare. Water lapping at his feet, his body lies on the sand. Still, silent, frozen, free, a ragdoll from another land. Alan Kurdi's voice reaches me. I mean, listen. I was put into the sea like Moses, don't you see?
Joe, what did he talk?
Okay, Dean, would you like to come and sing a tune for us?
Hey.
18 to preacher, folks.
Will anyone ask her questions? Because we had somebody in the man with it and it was disrupted, and we invite the people to speak, you know? Thanks. All right, thank you. So this lady just said she will try and facilitate us having a word with somebody. I appreciate that.
Indigenous apocalypse, decimated forest, the winter of our discontents upon us. Desolate apostles serving strongbow at the crossroads.
Just walk around here for a minute. Couldn't have a word with Danny Coffey there in the red. I don't know if they talk to me. And he's quite involved with people before profit here in Castlebar. Can we talk? No? There you go. Are you the manager in the radio station now? I heard that Danny might actually be the manager of the community radio station in Castlebar just there recently. So fair play to him if he is. I know he was in there for many a year on schemes. So fair play if he's moved up the ranks to manager. He's a people before profit member. Doesn't give me a huge. Sorry?
The body is buried, the body is whole. Running from war, the boat clothes, the boat sinking, and my house joy, no bed in the hospital. And why is there again? Imagine your daughter is under the senseless and her food. A baby uproar, the sea collapses down.
Just talking with a lady there. She's her name is Christine. She's another member of People Before Profit. She likes to slag me online. So I just asked would she be willing to have a chat there. She said she will at some point, not today though. This unites against racism. This is another front for People Before Profit. You can see Danny's one of the lads that pulls the strings in Castlebar. You have Joe Daly, who's a science teacher down in St Charles College, informing all the lads down there about the 100+ genders, I'm sure. They always have fairly good signage, don't they? They put plenty of money into their signage.
Like the waiting game, but when we see that life is happening, that every single body leaning on its knees without accommodation, and gathering up the knees, making it
stand up here and I actually did have one fairly decent chat with one member of People Before Profit. He's from Galway, I believe, since Gillen, and he was fairly reasonable. He's one of the only people, I think, from his party who's ever bothered to speak with me, and I think we got on fairly well. He could see where I'm coming from. So yeah, no, it'd be great if they just let us speak though, because two members of their party interrupted our public assembly on Saturday, and we were very, very willing to let them engage. We offered them the mic. They weren't willing to do it though. All they could do was point at their sign, the two-worded sign that said "Refugees Welcome." Can't hear what I'm saying. Oh, sorry about that. Bloody new phone I got. Okay, I'm gonna try something. Hang on there. Let me know if you can hear me any better in a minute. Okay. Tell me, everyone, is that any better now? Can you hear me? Hear me any better? In a little time like that. I'm not sure if it's working. You can't hear them. Okay, yeah, you can hear me. That's all right. Unless you want to listen to the music, you know, and I'll shut up. Harry the Algerian Grifter. Well, I'll tell you, if they were all only like Harry, I'd be happy enough, I'll be honest with you. I know a bit about his backstory, couldn't all be shared. You'll have to take my word for it. Or not, obviously. You don't have to do anything. Fair play to him anyway for speaking out. He could have just kept his mouth shut and had an easy life, but he didn't do that. Just before I started the live stream, actually, I heard Joe Daly on the mic, and he said, the far right always say, yeah, the thing is, how many can we take in? And Joe's response is, I'll tell you how many we can take in. We can take in as many that land on these shores. Okay, Joe, right. I believe a good portion of Africa wants to come here. For a start, I don't know, I'm sure there's a few from other continents as well. So good luck with that. Hopefully people before profit get into power and they'll sort everything out. Oh yeah. Good, thanks. Okay, let's go around here. I'm eager to try and have a word with Joe. He's never up for chatting, but maybe he will today. I don't see that Kathy. That person here that interrupted our public assembly on Saturday.
Okay, now we're gonna. That was beautiful, by the way. Thank you very much. Now we're gonna have a poem read by Kushi, who's a member of the Karen community. So thank you very much.
Home by War Sunshine. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shop. You only run to the border when you see the whole city running as well. Your neighbors running faster than you. The boy you went to school with who kissed you daisy behind. The old tin factory is holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when your home will let you stay. No one would leave home unless home chased you. Fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. You have to understand no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. Who would choose to spend days and nights in the stomach of a truck unless the miles traveled meant something more than the journey? Thank you.
Joe,
Now, I think we're coming close to the end, but finish up to commemorate the and to mark, I suppose, the tragedy in Greece recently, and in total in the Mediterranean Sea. I'd ask for a minute's silence, please. Okay, so I'll just get my time out.
can we have a word with you after, Joe? Could we? Joe, could we have a word with you after?
Okay, so we start the minute's silence now, please. Okay, thank you very much, folks. Solidarity to all displaced people around the world. Thank you.
Joe, how are you? Can you help me forward, Joe? Joe, Joe, you sent a couple of people up to disrupt our public. Joe, unbelievable. Sends people up to disrupt our meeting and give them the mic. So you're welcome to come and speak. Well, we're not. We don't. He doesn't talk to us. He doesn't give us a mic. I'll give him the mic. I give these people the mic. You know.
Just leave your beat with things alone. You want to ask us questions about what happened today on the 14th of June?
Can I speak?
Of course you can.
Okay. So I kind of want to ask you about something Joe said earlier. Are you with People Before Profit?
No.
Are you with any political party? No.
I'm
Okay.
a humanitarian worker. I work in refugee camps.
Great. Fair play. That's brilliant. Obviously, there's a serious problem at the moment for refugees coming here in terms of the conditions that they're being put in, and also for the Irish people who've lived here all their lives. I suppose I'll pick you up on something Joe said earlier. He mentioned when the so-called far right say, but how many can we take in? Joe's response is, we can take in as many as land on our shores. Would you agree with that? Is there a number like
Today is a day of mourning and talking about people who lost their lives. It's not a day of controversy. I know you have questions to ask, and that's fine. You're entitled to ask your question. If you have something Joe mentioned, then you can either ask Joe, email him, or write to him if you want an answer.
Sure.
Ask me questions
Sure,
about
okay.
humanitarian. I've been on the shores in Greece. I've seen people floating in the sea. You know, these people are not making a journey to come here for no reason.
I appreciate your time.
I think you actually probably do appreciate it. And I think you probably do have a good understanding. I think maybe you're mixing two things. Maybe you're mixing policy of government with humanitarianism. And I think sometimes that's the problem. I don't doubt that you don't feel the same way as the rest of them about what happened in Greece and 500 souls on the bottom of the ocean floor because of policy.
Yeah, no, and thanks for talking to me. Do you mind giving me your name? Please?
Elena.
Elena, thanks, Elena.
Yeah.
So, okay, we leave that. The reason I asked that question is just because it's a question I've been trying to ask for a while of Joe. So, we'll park that for the moment.
So today we'll just appreciate what today is.
Yeah. So let me ask you about another thing. The conditions that, because I'm of the opinion that the likes of the government, and the opposition parties, and as well as big business, the big investment firms, they're not in it for humanitarian duty. They're in it to make profit. There's a big EU fund of 10.
You're in a position, Stephen, to go and tackle the government and the policies about that, because that's something you feel very strongly about.
But do you agree? Is that a problem with the conditions that these people are living in?
People should be coming here for safety.
Yeah.
What happens then is a big problem, but it's not the only problem. Okay, we have to recognize in this country we have a big problem right now with housing. We do have to recognize that.
Yeah.
And I agree with what you're saying. Yes, there is a lot of controversy about accommodation, and I know you're talking about the accommodation here in Castlebar. So I understand where you're coming from, and I don't believe you're doing it out of malice. I think you might be doing it out of concern. But today is a day for mourning. It's a day to say to ourselves as human beings, this tragedy has happened. And I think you also acknowledge that.
Elena, look, I mean, for anybody that knows me, they'll know I have no problem with people coming in. You know, I want to do all I can to help people. You may have saw a video I did recently down in Brafey House trying to help an Algerian man and his family and his two kids who are difficulty down there. Now, I got a lot of stick on that from people on my side, so to speak. You know, they weren't happy. But like, if I see something wrong, I do want to try and speak out about it.
Well, you're a human being, Stephen, so you have to have people to say to the rest of us.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you think there's this divide between the supposed left and the right? I don't even like using those terms. But how do we? And there's extremes obviously on both sides. But how do we bridge that gap to get some sort of dialogue going between people? Like, you know, because there are people on let's just say, I mean, you probably call me the far right, or Joe would anyway.
No, I wouldn't call you the right.
Thanks, I appreciate that. I may be more conservative in my views.
Yeah, you might be.
Yeah, but how do we?
You might have taken on issues that might be more controversial.
Maybe.
That's fine. People are entitled to do that, but people are also entitled to have opposite views.
Yeah.
You know?
But the lack of debate is the problem, I find, and there's no. It's very hard to have discussion. Like, I know myself trying to engage with Joe. I was at school with Joe.
Why do you want to just engage with Joe?
No, not just Joe.
Yeah,
like,
then just leave Joe out of it.
But you see, we have to have this debate, because when Joe says something like, and I know we brought this question up already, but this is a question I've tried to ask many times: how many people can we look after in this country to any sort of level of decent care? Like, you know,
That to me is a question you have to pose to government and our local council and policy that's being made on it.
but Joe is going to be running for councillor next year.
I'm not political. I'm a
Yeah,
humanitarian.
look, believe me, I tackle everyone. I go to all the county council meetings,
Well,
and
you can do that.
and none of them talk to me.
Well,
And the same with
maybe it
Joe.
might be your approach, Stephen.
I don't know. How do you think my approach is with you today?
Well, I think you're using every opportunity to talk about Joe. So let's forget about that.
Okay.
Talk about the real thing that's happening.
Well,
People
I brought a few things up here, and look. What about the article? Now, we have to address the fact that, yes, first of all, there are a lot of genuine people coming here. But as the Irish Times reported, 60% of people dumped their documents on the way over here. Now, I'll tell you just as well as that, I know a lady who works on the border for everyone coming in by sea. And she said it's an absolute waste of time. People are just slipping through their fingers. She's just there as a token, basically, so they can say they had somebody there. But there are people, you have to admit now, that if you are if you have a criminal past and you want to hide it, Ireland is a pretty good place to come to. So there are some criminals coming in from around Europe. And we're not doing anything to stop them.
Okay. Let's talk about the lack of documents and people destroying documents. I've worked in this area. The documents may not belong to the person that's entering the country. If you come from Afghanistan, you cannot get a passport. If you do manage to get some travel document belonging to somebody else, and that is then checked, and it's discovered that that person is still in Afghanistan, they are absolutely going to be killed by the Taliban.
Where are they getting the money to buy these fake documents? They're expensive, aren't they?
Well, yes, of course they're expensive. But, you know, you're talking about people who are desperate. I know people who have sold every single thing they own to buy a document or to travel here or to pay a bloody people smuggler, because that's their only way. So as human beings, we have to open borders in control sense of saying, you know, we're not letting everybody travel illegally into the country or any country. We should make it safe passage for people, not that they have to go on a boat in the Mediterranean, 750 of them squashed into a boat. This country has been there. We don't need that kind of thing anymore. Now, I am going to finish up.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your time. I'd love to be able to talk to you again some other time.
Yeah, that's fine.
And just in
But I
closing.
will not go down a political.
No, that's all right. No, that's all right. Just in closing, just to say to your last comment there, another point I would have, or another issue I would have, is that a lot or a decent percentage of the people coming over, it seems to be, are young men, and I would ask the question. I would put it to you that the people that might really need the help, if we're talking about elderly people, sick people, women and children. I made this point the last day. I said you have, but just to finish that, you have to be healthy enough and wealthy enough to actually make it here.
Do you know why young men are coming? I'm going to take ISIS and the Taliban regimes for you in Afghanistan. That's who they recruit. When you become 13 years of age, you can carry a rifle. That's who they recruit. That's why they're leaving.
Do you think any of them want to come to Ireland, I wonder, to establish themselves here?
You mean like ISIS and Taliban?
I'm just asking the question.
They're never going to go on a ship and cross, Stephen. Please, they're not going to sleep on the ground in bloody refugee camps in France that I have witnessed. They're not going to be on the bottom of the ocean. They're the top guys. I'm talking about the people who do not want to be recruited by them, who are fleeing for their lives. I don't know if you have children, but if you have children, you would do anything to protect your children. So people flee. This is what they do.
Just one point on that. I know what you mean. With the kids, people are quite concerned, and some women are concerned as well, whether it's right or wrong. But it is true to say, I think, that in some countries, let's look at some African countries, women and children are treated quite differently than women and children might be treated in Ireland. Is that a fair point to make?
That's knowledge. That's everybody knows this.
Yeah.
Right? So different cultures have different ways.
Yeah.
And what does that have to do with people fleeing war and poverty and conscription?
Well, it just means, women are concerned here about their neighbourhoods, and especially when the Gardaí are actually losing numbers. And
all right, I'm not doing that.
Come on. I spoke about lots.
I'm happy to
I spoke about lots of things here. No, come on. I spoke about lots of things. I'm allowed.
What about the Kinahan lads living in Spain? What do you think of that?
Exactly.
That's Irish criminals.
I know.
Yeah, harassing people. I
agree with you. To be honest, I think we have enough of our own criminals.
They're not coming here to engage in criminality. They're coming here to save their lives, literally.
Is it, do anyone want to speak?
How do you know that?
But you know it.
99% of them.
Show me the proof.
And I'm sure there's criminals amongst them.
Show me the
If 20,000 Irish people arrived on the shores of any place in the world, there would be a percentage of criminals.
Hey, I want to chat. I just want to chat with this man here.
No,
Lads,
I don't chat with you.
Hang on there a second. Thanks for that, Gillian. Now, how are you doing? This man here, I think you Kamal?
I am Kamal.
Kamal.
Yeah,
People from Castlebar will know you.
I am a Labour Party representative.
You say again?
Labour Party representative.
Labour Party?
Yes.
How long are you with the Labour Party?
I am Labour Party since 2014.
But you went independent at one point.
I did, yes. 2014 I was independent. 2016 I was independent.
And when did you come back to Labour?
After that, when I see the Labour, they always worker party.
Yeah.
They talk, always talk for workers.
Are you going to be?
Not white colors and blue colors,
Are you going to run in the local election next year?
Yeah, I will run
Lovely.
for the next election. And this today is World Refugees Day. This is humanitarian. Doesn't matter what color you are.
Yeah.
We are all human. And especially whoever destroy their houses, destroy their lives, they become refugees. People don't want to be easy become refugees. Some people destroy their houses, destroy their relatives, destroy their, kill their parents. So they flow all over the world. At the moment, 3 countries in the world, highest refugee, Afghanistan, who did it? They'll destroy this country. And I think is another one is Ukraine as well. Russia and Ukraine war, they destroy their houses. So they become refugees, nobody wanted refugee. Everybody want to stay their own home. They love their own home.
Unless it's more lucrative to live here, maybe.
Yes.
If you get a better life, maybe it's better to come here. If you get a house, maybe if you get some of the social welfare. I think
we have to be you said some people maybe economically migrant. We don't want that.
But this happens, yeah.
Yeah, this happens. We have to restrict it on that. We have to be careful.
How can we?
Government should be betting.
Yeah.
Should be betting that who really need it for refugee status.
You think there should be more vetting?
It's more betting. I think government should need more betting. Who really need it?
Yes.
We don't want anybody come here grabbing social welfare, grabbing people houses. We don't want it.
Yeah, because when did you come to Ireland?
Well, I am nearly here 25
years. And,
25 years nearly.
Yeah. And you were working here. I know you drove a taxi for a long time.
I was working here in the chefing.
Chefing as well.
I have a business as well here
Yeah.
in Kashima.
Yeah, yes.
And I do B2B working as well,
Yeah.
my own business. And I'm meeting lots of people, and most of people, actually, the migrant here, they destroy their houses, their relative skills, they know houses over there, they come here. Maybe 1 or 2% is scared, they're snacking, they're taking advantage.
1 or 2%, you just think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I worry that it might be a little bit more.
Well, this my guessing, maybe
guess,
more,
yeah.
My guessing. So we have to more betting on that.
Yeah.
This my suggestion is more betting on that. We don't want anybody, came here grabbing social welfare, grabbing, houses. We don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want real people who needed refugee status. Should be we everybody agree on that, And Ireland is global village. 100 country people live in Ireland, and I think Irish people very nice people, and they are very friendly, and they wanted to help each other.
Yeah.
They help each other. Really, who need help, Irish people help.
But can you understand some of the concerns that local people around Castlebar and Brafey would have? I mean, just to mention Brafey for a start, Brafey is a village of about 1,000 people, and they put 900 asylum seekers and refugees into the Brafey complex. That's nearly doubling the population,
Yes.
with no extra services, or resources or anything. Like, where will these people get jobs? How is this going to affect the hospital? We were at the Mayo County Council meeting last week, and they told us that Mayo Hospital there had the most people on trolleys in the country. So how is that going to be affected when so many more people? Do you not think it would be a good idea maybe to sort out the country first, maybe increase the housing, increase the number of Gardaí, the number of nurses and doctors and teachers, and then once we have enough, then we can invite maybe more people in at that point?
Yes, I agree with you. You cannot simply say, "Oh, you come, and I will give you houses, how you going to keep them, you cannot excuse the what is called this, like farming, we can't, they are not animal, you cannot keep them like animal, one room, 5, 6, 10 people, excusing, so I think this your idea is, I think it's a good idea. We have to sort out this country housing crisis, house for all. Every Irish citizen should be in the house, not in the street. Homeless. We don't want anybody homeless. We want every Irish people need a home. Everybody, government should be provided. Roof over their head. And also, it's a hospital. Also, we needed more increase. Doctors and nurses, and we have to be end of trolley crisis because this pressure goes on. This refugee also when they go to the hospital, the pressure goes to the hospital. We need to expand hospital service as well too. So this I think gradually we should do that. We cannot simply call people and to stay here and open the door and everybody can come. I think need more vetting. Who really need it for refugee status should be given them. We don't want any whoever come here grabbing social welfare or stealing, snaking way.
Yeah.
Come over this country. We don't want that.
Very good. Well, I would agree with you on that, and I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too. Take care. Bye bye. One last question. I'm not sure if I asked you this question, Kamal. Kamal, isn't it?
Yeah, Kamal, yeah.
Kamal. I just asked the previous lady who spoke there. Is there a limit on the amount of people we can currently take in at the moment, until such time as we increase the housing, increase the service? Should there be a limit at the moment? Like, what number should we put on people coming in?
I don't have any idea. Probably government know there internally, and maybe council know there internally. They don't want to publish.
They said I think they said there's no limit.
So we don't know exactly what their target. They want to take 10,000 or 200. We don't know.
How many will be taken in? So we're taking over 100?
My personal opinion, it should be taken before. We should be provide every Irish citizen their homes, their services, whatever they needed. And same time, you can work with the refugee people who really need it. We don't want anyone come here grabbing social welfare, and we don't want that. So real people need for real, refugee status who destroy their home. They really threatening their lives. They killed their parents over there. So
because we started a group called Home, there's this 10 million funds, the AMI and 10 funds, but the minute it's all to be used is to get more housing online, but it's not being used to integrate people. It's not being used for teachers, the extra social care and all that. So we're saying that really more should be spent on integration than just bringing more people in. So at the minute we're at 20% of our population is foreign born, with nearly 200,000 migrants taken in over the last 3 years or something like that. So we're saying we're nearly at the limit. We should slow down the rate of taking them in and do more for the people that are already there. And then that will lead to less conflict and less I think everyone will be happy with that, because there's never been any problem with racism in Ireland up to this point, and that's because there was a steady but a small flow, and people got to I remember the first time I met you, you were
a long time ago we met.
Exactly. You were the new guy.
But
then we all got to know
since
you.
2014, I know you. You know me.
Yeah.
But another thing I want to say to you, the industrial estate. I think Briefy House providing some refugee people living there. I think it's not right idea to people bring it in industrial estate. That place is not suitable for us. Not suitable at all. And I think government and council should be looked properly, give them proper places, in somewhere, they have access everything. Not in industrial estate. That is business places.
Yeah.
People want to do their business, and people going to employ the local people, and people going to do the business there. Not bring the people and you make a international protection, is a refugee camp there.
Yeah.
This is industrial estate. These local people created job there. They're going to work there. So I think council should look at it. Proper places, probably replace them somewhere.
Do you know how much Briefy House got paid last year for housing refugees?
Well, they not published on that, so I not.
Oh, they did.
I didn't know that.
Nearly €5 million.
So this they making money.
Yeah. Do you think they care about refugees, or do they care about money?
Well, I don't know where they money all came from, but they are making money anyway. This is their business.
Yeah, they're paid by the state, €4.7 million.
So this is their hotel business. I think owner and I think their partner, the Briefy House.
The Duffys from Bal.
Yeah. I know them.
You know the Duffys, yeah, from Bal.
I do. I met him. I asked him why you bring in all refugee people in industrial estate. This is industrial estate for people going to do the business. This is business area. People created job for local people. And this is, should be, the mayor council give you permission for this. Not for people come there and you make it a, asylum seeker center in there, a business area. All business actually in industrial estate, that N5 business park, because I know I work with them. Everyone angry. Nobody happy with these places. As a person, I also not happy with that because this is business area, and there shouldn't be, people live there and make a refugee camp there. There should be, proper places. Replace them. I think council should look at.
Thanks, Kamal. Thanks
No
for your
problem.
time.
Thank you very much.
Take care. All the best. It's a nice man who's known around the town for a while. He's ran in a couple of the local elections. It'd be great now if Joe would talk to us. Lads, do you want to have a chat? Cool, nice one. How are you?
I'm not too bad.
Good man. What's your name?
My name is Bokam Martin Mohan, originally from Lesotho, South Africa,
Right, okay. When did you come to Ireland?
in the 19 September.
And how has your experience been so far? Tell us.
And it depends from which angle we are talking about, but so far, so good for me.
Excellent. Well, that's good to hear. So you were supporting World Refugee Day today?
Yes, indeed, because I'm a refugee myself.
Can you tell us a little bit about the circumstances that led you to leave your country?
When I left Lesotho to come here and seek asylum, I was kind of half politician because I was one of the outstanding young lawyers. I had been of cases against the government, of which I won, and then I have issues with prime minister and all that. So, to summarize it, I would simply say my case was based on political and social grounds for the purposes of persecution.
Right, okay. So you were involved in opposition parties to the government?
Yes.
Okay. And do you hope to get into politics in Ireland here?
No. And because I'm protected by the same country, I don't really want to fight against it. Just out of courtesy.
Very good. Well, it's very nice to speak with you. I suppose my main reason we're coming down here, I would have liked to speak with Joe Daly. He's one of the organisers today. He's with a political party called People Before Profit.
Yes.
He's actually an old school friend of mine. We used to go to the same school together. Now, Joe would have some opinions of me that I would dispute. Hi, sorry. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, no problem. Oh, this lady is... Don't be like that. This lady is wagging the fingers and don't talk to him. That's not very nice. That's not very nice. I thought Elena was a nice lady, but no. She waved her fingers and don't talk to this man. That's very unfortunate, Elena. That wasn't very nice. Why did? Well, you wagged your finger like as in. But I saw no, but you like don't talk to him sort of thing. But is that not what you did?
So I asked him a personal question about we have something in common.
With the fact that you waved your finger at him and kind of give the eye. No, you didn't. Well, we'll see on the camera anyway. Okay. We will. Anyway, everyone can have a look at that and let me know what was going on. Would you like to continue the conversation? You don't have to.
That's fine.
Yeah. I was just telling you there. I don't know why that lady doesn't want you to talk to me. You don't have to talk to me if you don't want to talk to me. The reason I'm here, I would have liked to speak with Joe, as I was saying, because Joe does say some very nasty things about the likes of myself, calling us racist and far right and all these terms which are not true. The question that I would have and people like me have is, how many people can we take into Ireland at the moment? How many people can we actually look after? Bearing in mind we have a problem with our housing, we have a problem with our hospitals, with our staff in hospitals, with our numbers of police, all these questions. So I just asked a very basic common sense question. Is there a number? What's the amount of people that we can take in? I tried to ask this question, but nobody will give me an answer. And because I asked this question, they say I'm racist, they say I don't like refugees or asylum seekers.
To answer you, I will answer you in these terms. For me, I consider there is no specific number that has to be assigned as to each number of refugees that's found in the country. But at the same time, I also admit the surge of people seeking asylum, which go way beyond the capacity of the government. As of present,
we all know of the housing crisis. So, if you will ask further about my opinion, I will simply say the government of Ireland has to prioritize attending to people's cases quickly so that they will root out people who come here with unfounded claims, because that jeopardizes people who are indeed in need of help. So as to what number, I can't guarantee what number. I will say those who are in need of help need to be helped. But the way the government, the mechanism that the government has to follow is to make sure that those that are here indeed they seek help. Because just last year we saw refugees coming from Italy, those who were already recognized, given a declaration as refugees, coming here to seek asylum. That was pure abuse of system. We see people coming from Italy who were asylum seekers. That is true abuse of system. So the government has to come up with a mechanism to uphold such, to spare a space for those who are desperate in need. That would be my suggestion.
Well, listen, I really appreciate talking to you. Thank you. And I hope if we see each other again around the town, we can talk again. Take care now. Okay, well, that was a nice conversation. Do you want to say anything else? I might wrap it up now. Everyone's gone. I would have loved to have a chat with Joe, but I think Joe's gone, is he? Joe and Danny. Is Danny the manager of CRC now? He is. Isn't that unbelievable? Danny Coffey, our local socialist, our local communist, is the manager of the local radio station. After doing the scheme here for years, he's been given the top spot. Well done, Danny. No chance of me getting on the radio there, I'm sure. Okay. Yeah, this is Eamon here to say a few words. Eamon's part of our home group.
Just speaking for the two people that I spoke to them out there on we had a talk, we didn't agree with each other, but we had a calm talk. And what I got from it, and what he didn't seem to understand, he wanted refugees to come here freely. I said, look, refugees from what? Yeah, China. But he didn't understand that there's two sets of migrants, two sets of people coming to the country. The migrants come to the country and refugees. We're trying to look after all of them and all of them at the same time. It's just not good. They don't seem to have any kind of cap in their head. Okay, the hotel is full now. Close the doors. And they don't have it. If we go by their heart, we go by their heart. We're not having nothing. Nobody's going to have nothing.
Yeah.
There's going to be too many people there.
Yeah.
Taking out.
I agree with you, Eamon. I mean, it's just kind of common sense at the end of the day. There's only so much you can do. And if we had more, maybe we could do more. I also do think that, however prosperous we're doing in the country, we do need to keep immigration to a certain rate of the population,
Absolutely. To a ratio of what will work and what will not work.
Yeah.
We need workers.
Yeah, we need some skilled workers as well, yeah.
It's not a matter of throwing out some big net and pulling in 50 million people. You know what I mean? To pull out 100,000 workers. You know what I mean? That doesn't work like that.
Thanks, Eamon. Okay, we're going to wrap it up there, folks. Thanks for joining us again. Sorry we didn't get to speak so early. Someday he might chat to us.